Hello, I'm Keena Bunny. Welcome to my talk show, and thank you for dropping in. So, earlier this month, I ended up getting COVID, sadly, and while I was ailing physically in bed, I decided that the physical pain wasn't enough, and I also needed to be psychologically and emotionally tortured. So, I started binge watching the TLC show You, Me, and My Ex. You, Me, and My Ex was filmed around 2021, 2020-ish, and it was released to streaming in 2021. It follows 5 different couples who face various challenges because one of the couples is maintaining a very close relationship with their ex. And various difficulties is putting it mildly, because the difficulties range so broadly from artificial insemination to sneaking behind your spouse and getting a matching tattoo with your partner behind your current spouse's back, to emotional cheating. So yeah, it varies so broadly that just watching this insanity just gave me emotional whiplash. Today I'll be speaking about one specific couple from the show, Jerry and Kayla Bay. And if you want me to, I'll make more down the line about the other couples, but this is the one that pissed me off the most. You're also going to want to stick around to the end because I have some bonus content. Also, if you like what you watch, please like and subscribe. And if you subscribe, you get a gold star. So this whole situation filled me with so much anger. I had to pause periodically to just scream. Everyone here sucks, except Kay. The ex sucks. The boyfriend sucks. And Kayla Bay is just plopped in the middle of this manipulative, self-obsessed trash fest that is the Philippou family. Philippou? More like Philippou. More like Philippoo-poo. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. So, now on to our cast of characters. Jerry Philippou. If I can't pronounce it right, then that's just my bad, but whatever. Jerry Philippou? Anyways. Jerry, 54, met Kayla Bay by chance working at an airport where Kay was working at a glasses boutique.
A place that was selling sunglasses, and I quickly went, wow.
I was working at a sunglass boutique. He came in there looking all dapper.
And I assume Jerry was traveling for work because he's the CEO of some company. And then they proceed to date for 9 months. And before they can go on their second real life date, so Jerry ends up getting very sick and is hospitalized and fighting for his life. And then in comes his ex-wife, Jessica, who kind of steps in to help take care of the kids and also kind of nurse him back to health because he was kind of like on his deathbed.
It was Friday afternoon. I'll never forget the day. I was looking around at my boys, and I had 100.
So a little backstory, Jerry and Jessica had been married for 15 years, and they had met 22 years prior, but they had been married for 15 years, and they had been estranged for 5 years due to Jerry's infidelity.
Wow, that's like the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life.
We eventually got married, and I think the best times that we had together were definitely our family time, enjoying the kids.
I had a clear shot of your butt crack.
Jessica and I have 4 children, and we stayed married for about 15 years. Smile. And then we didn't talk for 5 years through an incredibly horrible divorce. And then things came back around.
And I'm going to talk about that later. I'm going to talk about that in a little more detail later. Also, I did the math, and they let 22 years ago, right? Jerry is 54, Jessica's 40. So 22 years ago, Jessica was 18, and Jerry was 32. So yeah, I'm also going to be talking about that later. So, Jessica moves back in with her ex, Jerry, to help with the kids. They have 4 kids, 1 little girl who's about 8, 3 boys who are never really shown. I'm not going to show any of the children just because they can't really consent to being put online. And the oldest child is around 21. And so she's moved back in to help take care of him, and things are going smoothly until Jerry decides to invite the young girly Kayla Bay. I just love saying her name. Kayla Bay. Anyways, he invites Kayla Bay to live with him and his family, and so that's when the shit show begins.
About to change because I've invited a new person into our world.
I'm Kay LeVay, and I'm Jerry's new girlfriend.
Honestly, before Kay even moves into the house, Jerry and Jessica were already giving just such weird vibes, and it was just like, ew.
It's more than a friendship, but less than a sexually intimate relationship.
Huh?
But we have a really strong love for each other.
Like, Jessica basically admits in one of the very first interviews that her and Jerry sometimes still share a bed.
So do you guys like ever sleep in the same bed still?
I mean, I guess we have. Well, it just doesn't seem like a big deal.
Huh?
She just doesn't think that that's weird. That's your ex. Yes, it is weird, bitch. And just seeing how like touchy-feely they were being, like in those little interview clips, it was just so weird. Like, Jerry wasn't even my man, and I felt disrespected. Like, girl, what's happening? Also, the fact that in the very beginning, Jerry can't even be bothered to pick Kay up from the airport. He literally sends his two oldest sons to go pick her up, a complete stranger to them, and they're a complete stranger to her, from the airport.
Hi. Who are you?
And she has no idea who these people are. She's literally like, oh, who are you guys? Because she doesn't fucking know. So, Kay moves in on the first day and is understandably very upset that Jerry decides to put her in the fucking closet. Nope, not a guest room. A closet. His closet specifically.
Of work, don't judge. It's. What do you think? Do I get like a point for creativity? Will this work for you?
So he tends on keeping her in the fucking closet like a fucking concubine. And to me, that is like that was like the first giant red flag in the sea of red flags. It was this hot mess. The fact that he didn't even want to put in like the bare minimal amount of effort to make her comfortable, it was more so about, oh, her being in the closet is going to be convenient for me, so to the closet she goes. And also, just to add on like to the squeamy gross factor, the reason why he wants her in his closet specifically is because he thinks it'll be easier for him to sneak away for some adult time with her.
I understand the closet wasn't an ideal place to sleep, but I thought by putting her there that I'd have a chance to maybe, slip away at night and sneak into the closet.
Which just felt so exploitative and so dehumanizing, super sexist, really gross, really grimy, really dirty, really rotten. I cannot stand this man. And the worst part of this situation is the fact that he literally lied to her. He did not tell her that she wouldn't be sleeping in his bed. And a lie by omission is still a fucking lie. She was under the impression that she was going to be sleeping in his bed. Obviously, as one would expect to be sleeping in the bed of their partner. But no, he literally admitted to the fact that he did not tell her because he wasn't sure how he was going to react. Be so fucking for real. If she didn't like it, understandably so, you should have given her the option to decide for herself whether or not she wanted to stay there or just hit the deuces, because that's so manipulative. That's so creepy. The reason why they couldn't share his bed, the excuse that he gave was so flimsy at best. The reason why he told her that they couldn't share a bed and they wouldn't be sharing a bed was because him and his 8-year-old daughter, they usually share the bed because she has nightmares and she just prefers to sleep with him. And I don't have children. I don't want children, but I have been a child. And I don't think that your 8-year-old daughter is having a nightmare every fucking night. And if she is, take her to a psychologist. And even if that was the issue and she just needed to have, she needed to co-sleep with the parent, which I feel like also at 8, that's kind of the age where you don't co-sleep as much. I don't know. I feel like 8 is kind of old enough to start sleeping by yourself, right? Anyways, I feel like if it was that big of an issue and she needed to sleep with the parent every single night, then why couldn't she just sleep with Jessica? Why couldn't she just sleep with the mom? Why couldn't y'all just alternate parents that she slept with? Why did it have to, that's just so flimsy to me. That really didn't, I don't believe that. Also, how did that not come up in conversation while y'all were talking? You know what I mean? I feel like one of the first like icebreakers couples use when they're like getting to know each other. It's like, oh, like how do you sleep at night? Oh, are you like a light sleeper or like a heavy sleeper? Like that's something that usually comes up. And you think he'd be like, oh, you know, I'm co-sleeping with my 8-year-old daughter. So that's actually like a really important piece of information that he just left out. Also, this clip.
So I've asked my new girlfriend, Kay, to move in with us here at the house with my wife and my kids. With my wife and my kids. With my wife and my kids. With my wife and my kids.
To me, that's a Freudian slip, if I've ever heard one. This man is trying to form a harem. He is able to convince Jerry to let her sleep in the basement, which is so much better than the closet. You would think that that would be the first place. I feel like I would pull out a couch before I put somebody in a closet. Are you kidding me? I would sleep on the couch before I put somebody in a closet. Like, that's called being a good host. If you're staying with me, no matter if we're romantically involved, whatever, I'm not having you stay in my fucking closet like Harry Potter. What the fuck? That's evil. That is so evil. So Kay goes to the basement and Jerry says this.
Now you do realize
Yes.
my 21-year-old son is over there?
Oh, he's here?
So no hanky-panky.
Like, why the fuck would you say that's so gross? That's so like, ew. Get your mind out of the gutter, you dirty little rat. You. We also see the first buds of Jessica's drama the entire time. She's just kind of like cackling and like rolling her eyes, doing the whole mean girl bit.
It's going to be an adjustment, I think.
And she's like whispering to like her son, being like, oh, like, what do you think about her? Like, what do you think? It just gives like mean girl. It gives fucking mean girl. So the next morning comes, and this is where the infamous breakfast battle begins. Jerry is helping Kay get her things together, right? And he walks in on her organizing her clothes, and he kind of makes like a weird like neggy comment about how the clothes look being displayed on the ping pong table.
It looks very like boutique-like.
It does?
Like it's for sale.
I know.
Which the only reason why they're being displayed on the ping pong table, you insensitive clodbuck, is because you put her in the fucking basement and she has no closet space. Like, she has nowhere to put her clothes. And so he like kind of like teases her and makes fun of her, and he's like, oh, well, you can just put some of your clothes in my closet. She fucking better be able to put some of her clothes in her closet. That's the very least you could do as her boyfriend. Like, are you kidding me? And also the fact that she's literally your guest. Like, oh my gosh. House training on 0. House training on 0. So he gives her some closet space, and her and him, they kind of go up to his room to like sort some closet space out. And then Jessie kind of just inserts herself in the conversation.
In here?
Yeah, what's up?
The kids need to get up and get going, and I was thinking about starting breakfast.
Okay.
Well,
So,
that'll be perfect.
all right,
What
I'm
are you
just getting her
thinking?
settled.
Well, the boys usually have their favorites, so I'll probably make an egg and cheese for Tonio, and I'll probably make French toast for the 2 other boys. Emilio and Lorenzo will probably make French toast.
I can probably do like eggs. Just eggs.
How about salsa,
Salsa.
cilantro,
Cilantro.
sliced avocado?
Maybe with
Wow, I'll just make the kids breakfast.
gourmet.
Yeah, gourmet.
Gourmet?
style,
Okay,
I'll
gourmet.
just make the kids breakfast, and then you can just kind of make whatever.
And you saw that clip. I saw that clip. I would think, oh, you're offering to make breakfast. So what happens should be logical. Not according to Jessica. Maybe Jessica doesn't know how human beings. Maybe Jessica is not used to social interactions. Who knows? So Kay is like, oh yeah, like that's fine. I can do some eggs. And the way Jessica reacts is just so confusing to me.
I love making my boys breakfast in the morning, and but I am not her waitress, and I'm not making her breakfast.
And she confronts Jerry.
She thinks that I'm gonna make her breakfast in the morning, then
I don't think
she's
so.
like for a rude awakening, because I'm not going to. Like, I mean, I'm not taking like her breakfast order. I was thinking about starting breakfast.
Okay.
And to me, it really feels like that was like a very simple miscommunication. And I also feel like, girl, you literally said you were gonna start like, what were you expecting? You know what I mean? Like, you could have just said, oh, hey, I'm gonna start breakfast for the kids, or I don't know. I'm just like, that's just so strange to me to be like, I'm gonna start breakfast and then get mad when someone then expects breakfast. Like, that's what? That's like me being like, oh, hey, I'm going to the store. Do you want anything? Oh, yeah, I want a soda. Fuck you. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe maybe I'm just not, a bitter, crusty, dried up, wrinkly little hag. Another thing I don't like about the situation is the fact that Jerry just never defends Kay. Like, immediately after Jessica confronts him, he's just kind of like playing it off and is like, really just not being concerned, even though Jessica's being very openly hostile to his girlfriend, and you think that he would be bothered by that, or you think that he would have some kind of protectiveness for her, but he doesn't have any concern, any care. And in the interview, he's like,
I think Jessica's feeling a little bit intimidated by Kay. She feels that there's some kind of mischievousness going on, or maybe that's not the right word. Maybe it's more she's marking her territory. Yeah.
and it's like, you can just tell by his expression, like, he's very smug, he's very like arrogant about it, like he's very clearly just like getting off on the idea that these two women are fighting over him. Overall, it was a pretty clear misunderstanding. And like, girl, if you walk into a room and say you're starting breakfast and then get flabbergasted when someone wants the breakfast, okay. This next section made me so mad. Oh my gosh. So Jessica's next jab, her next strike, if you will, is, so I didn't explain this earlier, but so Kay LeVay has OCD.
So I'm OCD, and these alarms help me to make sure that I get it done.
Because of her OCD, she has all of these alarms on her phone, which keep her on schedule, and like, they tell her what time it is to begin the next task, or like the next whatever it is she has to do, right? Which, is understandable. Obviously, I understand that like people with OCD being on a schedule can be very important to them, and if they're not on their schedule, it can be very uncomfortable. So she uses her alarms to maintain her schedule, and her next alarm goes off while her and Jerry are eating breakfast. And Jessica mocks the alarm.
I think that was an alarm because it was time for my oatmeal.
And then sits on Jerry's lap and basically just taunts Kay about it.
I usually sit on his lap when we have breakfast.
Well, that's gonna have to change.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe it won't.
Oh, come on.
Don't do him like.
While Jerry just sits there with this stupid grin on his face. God, I hate this man. It's also obvious that Jessica is being a little attention whore. Like, girl, you just started breakfast, and you see that Jerry is still eating it, but now all of a sudden you need help. Okay, babe. Sure. Later that night, the family has a game night, and Kay confronts Jessica for the first time, and Jessica, she's so passive aggressive. I literally hate a bitch that's so passive. Like, just say the fact. I'm an Aries. I am very open about my emotion. If I don't like you, I will just tell you. I don't like you. I don't like that you did that. I don't like that you're doing that. I'm not gonna have like the most to say behind your back. And then when you finally come around my face, I'm just gonna be like, oh, I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm just a little baby. Girl. Jessica, because she's a little weenie and is obviously too much of a wimp to tell Kay to her face how she's feeling, she just kind of wresses her off. Cool. So a week goes by after the scene, and nothing has really changed. Kay is being very bubbly and is very excited about being here. I do not know why. This man is not worth all this joy, babe. Keep that to yourself, you cute little sunshine bean. Anyways, Jessica kind of just sits there being really snarky and cackly, like a wrinkled little witch just sitting in the corner stewing in her old lady juices. Jerry just sits there being smug, like, oh yeah, I have all these women fighting over me. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so they go on a family ski trip.
Cross-country skis.
Carrie kind of tries to bond with the family. She's kind of like, just being very playful. And Jessica, once again, is just like being Jessica, very much just kind of rebuffing her, putting her down, making all these weird little snide comments.
Oh my gosh, her outfit. I don't know where she thought we were going, but there are no clubs on the ski trail. I don't understand why she has to be like constantly screaming. It's like screeching and like laughing obnoxiously loud.
This is such a cute family moment. I literally cannot with myself.
It's a great moment. But I don't know what you mean when you say family.
Well, I'm just saying, this is something that a family would do, right?
Like actually starting real beef now.
Jerry isn't doing anything to protect her or to, make her feel more comfortable or to shut Jessica the fuck up, which you should do because that's your girlfriend and that's your ex. Make that make sense. Anyway, so this is also an important moment in the arc because this is where Kay starts realizing that Jessica's never going to warm up to her and she has no intentions of warming up to her.
You keep saying family, and I'm like, well, what do you think, that I feel like I'm a part of the family? I'm like, no, I'm just saying. She was like, do you think that? Do you feel that? And I said, no, but I'm going to keep asking you until you tell me. So I didn't receive that much positive energy back, which sucks when that you put that out there and you don't get it back.
And she's always just going to be really like snide and snarky, and she's kind of like, okay, well, if that's the vibes that you're putting out, then I'm also just going to keep my distance and I'm not just going to keep being in your face trying to be nice to you, right? Which I was really relieved to see her make that realization because she just came off as like really naive and like a little bit unaware like the first couple episodes, and it kind of just made me worry about her, but the girl is going to be okay. So Kay just starts being a little bit more toned down and really quiet, and she seems obviously really sad. And so Jerry asks Jessica instead of asking Kay because that makes so much fucking sense. And Jessica just plays dumb and is just like, I don't know. I really just feel like Jessica just reminds me so much of a Karen. Like, she just gives Karen. Like, I just know if I was making her burrito, she would be the one to, like, scream at me for 5 or 10 minutes because I got a topping wrong and then start crying when I told the manager that she was being disrespectful. Like, that's her. That's her. She gives Karen, like, just the evilest kind of Karen. The worst, dingiest kind of Karen. But after he talks to Jessica, Jerry goes up to talk to Kay.
I feel like I'm doing the ultimate most to make everybody comfortable. I'm sleeping on a balloon, my back hurts, and I'm trying to do my best to uplift everybody, and I don't feel like that's being reciprocated.
Just something I did.
By your ex-wife, and I'm getting that passive-aggressive type of vibe, and it's annoying, and it's like I just can't take that anymore.
Jessica has her moments. I can feel it and tell. Sometimes she's very vocal, and I told her she shouldn't be so vocal.
And then you can kind of see like the first confrontation happening.
That's okay in here.
Yeah, we're just having some discussion. She felt kind of bad today. Like she was
I am, because I feel like you're being very standoffish and kind of what do you call that when someone is trying to passive aggressive, and it's just like you throw these jabs, and I gave you like three opportunities to tell me like how you feel, and I don't even care if you tell me like, girl, I don't like you and I'm never gonna like you, so stop smiling, stop trying to make.
I didn't say anything with an attempt to stir up any negative feelings. I don't.
Okay. And then the facial expressions, the glares, the cold shoulder.
If I was doing that, I didn't realize it.
I wanted to look at her like this could work, but
Sharing a space, and we really don't know each other.
I know that. And I don't know if you feel my vibe, but I've been trying to make everybody laugh. I'm trying to be the entertainment, the little cute little person, and it's just, I'm not getting that reciprocated. So, from here on out, I think I'm just going to leave it as is, and that's it. making all these faces, you're doing all this sneaky ass, like purposely chiming into conversations, trying to be dominant or whatever.
And to me, I feel like Kay is very socially aware. Like, she understands what's going on and she understands how she's being treated, but they're just not respecting what she's saying at all. They're not acknowledging what she's saying at all. They don't care about what she's saying. They don't care to just take the time and like listen to her express why she's so uncomfortable and why she feels so unwelcome. And Jessica is kind of just throwing stones and hiding hands, and Jerry is just playing dumb.
Everybody just kind of take it down. We'll work through this. It's difficult. It's a difficult situation. And I have to kind of balance. I mean, I'm trying to keep neutral.
Like, he's like playing like, oh, like I'm the good guy here. I'm just like the calm, quiet middleman. Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm making sure you guys don't get too crazy. Like, dude, that's your girlfriend. You have to defend her at some point. So after this, the couple decide that they need some alone time, and they decide to get away to Jerry's cabin, which I forgot to mention earlier, but he literally made Kay quarantine in this cabin for 14 days alone, just so she could be with his crusty ass. At the cabin, they have some adult fun time.
But when you have somebody as hot as Kay giving you every reason to want to rip off her clothes, you remember, the better the sex, the crazier the woman.
Which Jerry can't even enjoy without being a weirdo and making a sexist comment. Like, just shut up and enjoy the dance. This is also a ploy on Kay's part, because I guess you can like tell if a man has had sex recently by some kind of voodoo or magic or something. I don't know.
I can tell if a man has had sex before, and I can tell if he's had sex recently. If I come around him and he's acting like he's good down there, or you know, I'm gonna know, you know. So yeah, he better be ready.
If I ever feel like I need to be some like magician, snake charmer, spell whatever to figure out if you're still sleeping with your ex, I'm already leaving. Peace. Ain't no way that Jerry's crusty, musty, Pillsbury Doughboy ass is worth all this. No way. Later that night, while they're in a hot tub, Kay finally asks Jerry what we've all been thinking.
Do you think she still has feelings for you?
I don't think she has feelings for me. What do you think?
I think she does. Because a regular woman wouldn't be like that. She would be like, girl, let me tell you, I was married to him, girl, like, she would have been like that if she was like your friend.
Right.
What she's doing is what a jealous girlfriend would do. You know what I mean?
I've never seen it that way. But I mean, now that you say that, maybe.
This scene, looking back, made me feel so frustrated for so many reasons. The main reason is that it gave me a lot of false hope, because it felt like Kay was able to clearly articulate herself, and it seemed to me like Jerry was actually listening to her for once.
Holding him back from receiving the love that he needs. Like, I think that's why I met him, because I'm capable. I'm really capable of having that in order. The minute that someone comes in your life and tries to give you love, she's doing all that. That's not right. And I understand you got kids, but you need to put your foot down too. Yeah. They need to understand that daddy needs love.
You're such an old soul. I love that. You're so wise, way beyond your years.
You know what I mean? And I definitely disagree with that sentiment that it's a woman's job to, you know, fix a man and like heal them emotionally with the magical power of their poon, but whatever. Side note, it also gave me like the biggest ick it gives me the biggest ick, like in general, when men refer to you as an old soul. It just screams, I'm a pervy groomer. Arrest me. Please arrest me. Like, I'm not an old soul. You're just a creep. Am I an old soul? Or are you just adultifying me so you feel better about you liking younger women? You little pervert. Back at the house, Jerry makes the bear is not even a bear. The bear scraping the hell bones minimum attempt at getting Jessica to get along with Kay. Basically just entails him asking vaguely like, oh, give her a chance, babe. I'm sure you guys can work it out.
Hopefully that you guys can work it out between you to get along.
And Jessica says that she doesn't trust her intentions.
I really believe that she just really and truly doesn't love you.
And basically starts like filling his head with all these doubts, like Kay doesn't love him, which, side note, that to me is such a ludicrous notion because they've been dating for 9 months. Almost all 9 of those months have been virtual. I hope to God she hasn't fallen in love with him from virtual dating for 9 months. That doesn't make any sense. To me, this is also a very pivotal moment in their arc because Jessica drops some key information that to me explains almost all of her behavior. Now, obviously, explain does not mean excuse. In an aside, she mentions that Kay LaVey reminds her of all the women who had previously interfered with her marriage with Jerry. So the women that Jerry would cheat on her with.
It is kind of a reminder, is like the women, the type of women that used to interfere with our relationship that Jerry would cheat on me with, I feel like we're very similar in character to her. They don't care that we have a family. They don't care that we have kids. They're so into themselves.
Girl, the only person who interfered with your marriage is Jerry. Jerry didn't care that he had a family. Jerry didn't care that he was married. Jerry didn't care about you. That's on Jerry, babe. I also find it funny that Jerry, like, in his own aside, he blamed not being ready for like married life in general on the reason that why he cheated, but they were well into a 15-year marriage and they had 4 kids at that point. If you're not ready then, when were you going to be ready? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
The divorce because I had an affair. I knew I loved Jessica, but I don't think I was ready to really jump into a marriage, and it hurt Jessica really bad.
If anyone wouldn't have been ready, in my opinion, it would have been Jessica, the literal 18-year-old who you picked up at 34. For me, that whole monologue on her side shows me that Jessica hasn't worked through the pain and anger and understandable trauma that the infidelity had on her. So instead of doing some like inner work, getting a journal, getting a therapist, she chooses to project those feelings of anger and hurt onto Kay. She projects those characteristics that she felt belonged to those women onto Kay as well. Which is silly because Kay didn't break up your marriage and Kay isn't there to destroy your family because you and Jerry are not that kind of family anymore. You're divorced. You're not with him. And he owes you nothing. Move on. To me, the next scene really showcases how manipulative Jerry can be. I was kind of going back and forth as to like whether or not he was being manipulative or if he was just like really that dumb. But to me, this kind of sells me on it. So Jerry asks Kay where she would be most comfortable sleeping. Obviously, we all know where she'd be most comfortable sleeping. Jerry's bed. She's been pushing that she wants to sleep in the same bed as him because that's her boyfriend. Obviously, she didn't come all this way. She lived in New York. She didn't come all the way to fucking, is it like Illinois, Utah, wherever. She didn't come all the way in the middle of bumfuck nowhere to sleep by herself in a basement. Are you kidding me? No.
So, where would you feel comfortable?
Sleeping?
Sleeping, yeah.
Sleeping? Oh,
What would you feel good with?
in your room.
It's really clear that she meant with him. And he starts to say something like about the relationship, but then he sees the child walk in, one of the younger children, and he kind of cuts himself off. And he's like, oh, like, let's censor ourselves for this child.
My whole life, I rushed into things. And I think
But having your
Morning, Saya. We'll filter our conversation for Saya. So you can take my room. That's fine. I want you to come.
Even though she was not within earshot. And then only after he already agrees that Kay can have his bed, he's like loudly asking if the little child wants to have like a little camp out in the basement.
Hey, Saya. What do you think if we let Kay stay in our bed and maybe we camp in the basement? That'd be cool.
To me, there is no reason for him to like scream like that at, you know what I mean? Like, he was just being so loud because he obviously wanted Jessica to hear. And obviously Jessica's, her little witch ears perk up and she's like, oh, what's happening with my man? And to me, he was kind of like doing that to kind of like play victim, like, oh, Jessica, like, come save me. Look at what this evil, evil woman is making me do. Overall, this kind of just feels like malicious compliance in order to punish her for daring to ask more of him and for daring to, you know, hold him to any kind of standard. So then, of course, Jessica, Captain Save-A-Man, White Knight, rushes in and wonders why her perfect little princeling has to sleep in the hard basement floor. Like, the man didn't literally offer to sleep in the basement.
She doesn't want to sleep on it because it's uncomfortable, she says, but you were the one that has to get a good night's sleep for your health, and the doctor would even say that.
No one was holding a and was like, get in the basement. Like, that simply did not happen. That simply did not happen. And she also starts like whining to him about his medical condition and is like, you can't sleep in the basement. You'll literally die. He'll literally be fine, but okay. Also, why is Jerry's comfort more important to him than the comfort of his little girlfriend, his guest, who's not staying there? She's literally staying there just to be with him. Like, he had weeks to prepare for her to come live with him. He could have bought her a new bed. Like, he could have done so many things, and just putting her on that, like, uncomfortable air mattress, and then him also just not having the concern, like, oh, if I sleep on this air mattress, it's gonna hurt me. But, you know, you can sleep on the air mattress. That's fine. You can sleep there. And also, I feel like he's dancing around the real issue. I think the real reason why he doesn't want to share a bed with Kay is because he's not ready for that kind of intimacy. He kind of like teases at it. You know, when he says like, oh, I feel like I've rushed into all my relationships, that whole rigmarole. And to me, that also grosses me out because it's like, you've seen my whole poon. You're ready for that kind of intimacy. You're ready for the intimacy of me meeting your kids and living with your kids. But sharing a bed with you is where you draw the line. Okay, sure, that makes sense.
Why would you do this?
Because she's driving me crazy.
Okay.
And I'm outweighing the stress of her, like, not comfortable.
So she doesn't want to sleep on.
And also Jerry like playing it off like it wasn't fully his decision, which is like, oh, you know, she's just driving me crazy. Like, she's just so violent. Sorry, my arms are cramping. This mic is so heavy. But if you see me flicking my wrist, that's why. I think it's so funny that Jessica is more concerned about Jerry having to sleep in the basement and not her young daughter. I feel like if I was concerned for anyone in that situation, I'd be concerned for the child. But why the child got to be banished to the basement? Yeah, sure, he deserves the basement. Jerry deserves the basement, but give that little girl a real bed. She has her own room. But just put the little girl in her room. Like, why the fuck are you using your daughter as a shield, you weirdo? After a tearful conversation, Kay decides that she's ready to be picked up. And this is where another confrontation happens.
I'm leaving.
Why?
Is that she's trying to get to you, Jer?
I don't want you to leave.
She's manipulating you, Jer. I'm manipulating, bitch. I'm not you. I'm not you, sweetie. He's never gonna be happy because you're in his corner trying to keep him all to yourself, you weirdo.
I don't know that Jessica's afraid of me being happy.
You don't determine his happiness. He makes those decisions about what makes him happy.
I feel like she's jealous of me. No.
You're not caught in the middle. I am not mad at you. Okay, so basically you want your cake, you want to eat it too.
No. Jessica and I are friends. And that friendship is important.
I will say that Kay has so much better composure than me here because everything about the situation would have driven me over the edge. Like, from the way that Jerry is defending and comforting Jessica to the way he's like not doing anything to defend Kay. Like, just like Jessica's constant just picking at her, saying all these little things. Like, oh my gosh, I do not care if they were kids. I would have dragged Jessica's crusty, musty curls back and forth across the basement, okay?
Puny God.
I would have ripped them out of her head. She would have looked like Cynthia from Rugrats. Like, the kids can watch. Y'all about to learn what it means when you fuck around and find out. Y'all about to learn that tonight. Somehow, through all that chaos, Jerry is able to convince Kay and LeVay to stay. I roll. I'm not showing their conversation because he just says some dumb bullshit. And there's really nothing to talk about. He just, whatever you can imagine stupid fucking men say when they want to get you to do something. That's what he said. Oh, babe, please, I'm sorry. I'll change. We could talk about it. We could work it out. Okay, whatever. Also, in this instance, Jessica gets a taste of her own medicine and doesn't like it.
We get a little glimpse of who Kay really is when she says things like, I wasn't talking to you, stay in your lane. And I'm just like, what?
All what I did at the cabin because of that. So do not say that out your mouth. Period.
We were having a conversation.
I don't care.
Right. Also, Jerry makes a weird, creepy, sexist comment, all right on schedule.
It is so
Isn't it crazy that I still think she's kind of sexy even though she's so crazy?
I get it that some guys' minds work that way, but I'm like...
Don't worry, kids. Only one more scene to the finale, and then there's a twist.
I don't know that she has, like, the maturity to step into the position to being what it is that he needs.
I wonder who does have the maturity, Jessica. Who could it possibly be? Is it you? Is it you? So Jerry goes to visit Kay at the cabin and is a little bit concerned to find out that she's not answering her phone. And I was thinking how funny it would be if she actually did have like a younger man in there that she was like that would have been iconic. That would have been so funny. Anyway, so eventually Kay gets in touch with, not with Jerry, but with the producer.
Hello?
Yeah.
Where are you?
So yeah, I was staying in the cabin, and the more I was sitting there, the more I was thinking about my worth. And I'm worth way more than this, so I left.
A win for the girlies. The best decision she ever made. I did a happy dance. I was so happy for her. I was like, So the final interview goes as well as you would think it was, which is, it's just like, once again, the two of them are just, they pin all of the blame and all of the chaos on Kay instead of doing any kind of self-reflection. They truly are two little rotten peas in a pod.
Controlling his, which explains their dynamic. She controls his every move.
Can Jessica have a rebuttal, please?
I'm not sinking down to that level.
You are full of. Don't come to me with no. I don't want to hear it. One for Jessica.
Wow, and look at she's
And
buying.
one for Jerry.
Wonderful.
I mean, it could be your
Glad I didn't
faces.
leave my
Which one would you
kids.
like? I didn't even get a chance to voice out. You just shushed me away to the cat. That was your solution to all of this hostility.
My
So that was me compromising yet again my dignity and my grace, bowing down to your ass again.
her at 7-year-old. Loves to hear your language.
Excuses.
I don't know how to get along with someone like that.
I was like this the whole time. Are you kidding me? I was very sweet. I was making everybody laugh. Do not act like this is the only dynamic that you saw of me. This is me after me being nice.
I felt so bad for Kay here because I understood her anger completely and she's just never heard.
Jessica told me that you were playing games and playing only with my daughter when I was noticing, and I defended you the whole time. And now I'm seeing your true colors.
Do not lie. Do not lie.
My
And
ears
lie
are
again. That's why I don't like to talk.
Okay, I have tinnitus. Maybe you don't know what that is. Don't yell in my ear anymore.
You know the kind of manipulator that Jerry is? Jerry is the kind of man to just emotionally abuse you, neg you, emotionally neglect you, mock you, and then when you finally get angry and you finally snap and you lash out, to just be like, oh my gosh, like, you're crazy. You're being so crazy, right? Like, I'm being so calm. I'm the good guy, but you're crazy because you're cussing and you're screaming, but I'm the good guy because I'm calm. And I haven't done anything wrong because I'm being calm. But you're crazy because you're yelling. And that's crazy and that's bad. But yeah, I understand why she's angry. Because, you know, he doesn't listen. And quite frankly, if I was Kay, I would have come back with a... Also, the weird point that he makes about the daughter, I just feel like that's such a strange thing to bring up. I really feel like What did that have to do with like literally anything? And I feel like a child, an 8-year-old child, is just not going to say that out of nowhere without like some coaching. You know what I mean? And also, even if that like were true, if I was in Kay's situation, and which I would never be, because I don't want kids, and I don't want anyone who has kids, but I wouldn't want to play alone with someone else's child without the parent being there either, especially if I just met the child. Like, no, I just feel like that wouldn't be appropriate. Also, the entire time Jerry's been living there, he didn't defend her once on any matter at all, so I really find it hard to believe that he was defending her about this. That aside, I really feel like the show was trying to like push this narrative and like frame her as being like this crazy Latina, like, because she's Puerto Rican, and also like, you know, the whole angry black woman, the sapphire stereotype. I feel like they were really trying to push that. But, and you know, they're so, you know, them on contrast are just so calm and so proper, but really the whole time they were just gaslighting and bullying her the entire time, and it's insane. Kay moves on with her life and moves back to New York to continue her life as a singer. So finishing the interview alone with Jessica, Jerry kind of hints at maybe wanting to get back together with Jessica, which makes me wonder if all along this was some kind of like insane plan on his part to kind of like make Jessica jealous and like get her back or whatever.
Always asked you anything about you and I?
No. Why did they ask you?
Yeah, I think them watching us interact since you came to take care of me, I look in their eyes and sometimes I feel like they're waiting, you know? I think it's every kid's dream to see their parents get back together, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible for you guys to get back together and do that?
I am very happy with my relationship with Jerry the way that it is right now.
I never say never to anything. I've learned that my whole life. You never know.
But Jessica kind of just like rebuffs him, which gives to me that gives like a child that like they don't want to play with the toy, but they don't want anybody else to play with the toy either. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's my toy. Like, I don't want to play with it, but it's still my toy. That's what it gave. Just very childish. Or, you know, maybe she's like just so bitter and angry about the divorce that she wants to like sabotage all his future relationships. Who can say? I also want to touch just very briefly on the age gap in the relationship that I mentioned earlier. To me, it's very concerning and a huge red flag to see someone who is as manipulative and like self-involved as Jerry to have this pattern of like dating all of these younger women. It gives very strange, it gives predator, and it kind of makes me wonder how the dynamic of his first marriage was. I can totally see Jerry like shirking all responsibility of his cheating on all those evil women who just seduced poor little old him and he just couldn't help it, or, you know, alternatively blaming his cheating on Jessica for being a shrew, which he kind of is. But anyways, IDK, let me know what y'all think. So to summarize, Jerry ends up alone, the Wicked Witch flies back to Utah, and all is right on planet Earth. Bonus round. If y'all made it this far, you won some bonus content. Yay! I'm just going to be playing some TikToks that I found from Jessica and talk very briefly about them here. I found a video of Jessica explaining her side of the breakfast fiasco, as well as her just shading Kay in general. I found Kay's TikTok also, and it literally says nothing about Jessica, so if it wasn't clear who the aggressor was, hopefully it is now.
What happened with breakfast? Okay, so first of all, the reason that I came into the room to talk about breakfast was because I was letting them know the plan for the day and kind of the schedule to keep everybody on track.
In the first TikTok, she's kind of just talking about how she wanted to like keep everybody on a schedule, but she later in comments says that Kay is not her guest and not her responsibility. So which is it? Because it cannot be both. Okay, bye bunnies. I hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know if I should cover the rest of the series, and like and comment down below, and subscribe for a gold star. Bye.